The ultimatum. Commander Ilara Chen stood at the observation deck of Earth Defense Force Station Artemis, her gaze fixed on the holographic display showing the approaching Craxian vessel. Its sleek, crystalline structure gleamed even in the projection, a testament to the technological superiority of the Craxian Federation. Ilara's weathered face remained impassive, but her mind raced through tactical scenarios, each more troubling than the last. They're requesting immediate docking clearance, Lieutenant Rivera announced from the communication station. Priority diplomatic channel. Granted, Ilara replied, her voice steady despite the tension coiling in her stomach. And alert the United Earth Council. I want President Okafor on standby. The Craxians rarely made direct contact with Earth. As one of the founding members of the Galactic Concord, they typically communicated through intermediaries or at scheduled summits. An unannounced visit from a diplomatic vessel this size meant something significant had changed in the delicate balance of interstellar politics. 30 minutes later, Ilara stood in the station's conference room as Ambassador Ziv Taxa glided in, flanked by two imposing guards. The Craxian's translucent skin pulsed with bioluminescent patterns that Ilara had learned indicated formal diplomatic mode. Behind them, holographic projections of Earth's leadership materialized around the table. Ambassador, President Okafor greeted from her projection. This unexpected visit suggests matters of importance. Indeed, the Craxian's voice resonated through the translator device. The High Conclave of the Craxian Federation has made a discovery that necessitates immediate action. Ilara noticed the subtle shift in the ambassador's luminescence, something she'd come to recognize as the Craxian equivalent of tension or discomfort. Our advanced resonance mapping has revealed that Earth possesses a unique quantum signature in its planetary core. Ziv Taxa continued, activating a holographic display that showed Earth's interior with an unusual energy pattern pulsing at its center. This quantum resonance field is the key component needed for the next evolution of interstellar travel technology. President Okafor frowned. I fail to see how Earth's internal composition is a matter for the Craxian Federation. The Galactic Concord Charter, Section 47.3, designates unique physical phenomena of extraordinary scientific value as universal heritage. The ambassador replied smoothly. The High Conclave has classified Earth's quantum resonance field under this provision. Ilara's blood ran cold as the implications became clear. She'd seen this strategy before, the legal maneuvering that preceded resource appropriation. Ambassador, what exactly are you proposing? She asked, cutting through the diplomatic posturing. Ziv Taxa's skin flickered in patterns Ilara couldn't interpret before stabilizing. The process of harvesting the quantum resonance field requires specialized equipment that must interface directly with Earth's core. This will, regrettably, render the planet uninhabitable. The Federation offers generous relocation assistance to all Earth inhabitants, with guaranteed citizenship rights on designated worlds within our territory. The room erupted in shocked exclamations and outrage. Ilara remained silent, her tactical mind already assessing options and vulnerabilities. This is not a proposal, Ambassador, President Okafor stated, her voice cutting through the chaos with steely resolve. This is an attempted appropriation of our homeworld. Earth is not negotiable. I understand your emotional attachment, Ziv Taxa replied. However, the High Conclave's decision is final. You have 30 Earth days to begin evacuation procedures, after which the Federation will dispatch harvesting vessels. Resistance will be met with appropriate measures. After the Craxian delegation departed, Ilara remained in the now silent conference room with the projected Earth leadership. Options, President Okafor asked, her projected image looking directly at Ilara. The Craxian military outclasses our fleet in every conventional metric, Ilara stated flatly. Their shield technology alone makes them virtually impervious to our current weapon systems. A direct confrontation would be catastrophic. Then we surrender our home. Defense Minister Ibarra demanded, his holographic fist slamming down on the virtual table. I didn't say that, Ilara replied, a glint in her eye. I said conventional confrontation would fail. But humanity has never been particularly conventional. Over the next 3 weeks, Earth transformed into a hive of frantic but coordinated activity. Under Ilara's direction, the planet's defense infrastructure underwent a radical metamorphosis. Civilian manufacturing facilities were repurposed, academic research was militarized, and every space-worthy vessel was modified according to specifications that raised eyebrows among even the most innovative engineers. The quantum destabilizer nodes won't survive more than one activation cycle, Dr. Imani warned during one of the endless briefings. They only need to work once, Ilara replied, studying the schematics. And the distribution pattern is critical. Every ship must maintain exact positioning relative to the gravitational focal points I've calculated. 28 days after the Craxian ultimatum, long-range sensors detected the approaching armada. Over 300 Craxian vessels, including their feared Sunbreaker-class dreadnoughts, emerged from hyperspace at the edge of the solar system. They're early, Lieutenant Rivera observed grimly as the tactical display filled with enemy signatures. They're cautious, Ilara corrected, arriving before the deadline to position themselves optimally, exactly as I predicted. She activated the command channel. All Earth Defense Force vessels, assume formation Chimera. Civilian auxiliary fleet, maintain holding pattern until signal Alpha. The Earth fleet, a mere 75 military vessels supplemented by over 200 hastily converted civilian ships, looked pathetically outmatched on the tactical display. The Craxian armada advanced in textbook formation, their superior sensors undoubtedly registering every detail of Earth's defensive posture. Commander Chen, the communication officer, called out, incoming transmission from the Craxian flagship. The main screen flickered to life, revealing High Admiral Vex Lauren. Unlike the ambassador, the admiral made no attempt to hide his contempt. Commander of Earth's defensive forces, he began without preamble. Your resistance is noted and dismissed. The High Conclave has authorized me to offer one final opportunity for surrender before we commence clearing operations. Ilara stepped forward, her posture relaxed but her eyes hard. High Admiral, I'm curious, has the Craxian Federation ever encountered a species that simply handed over their homeworld without a fight? The Admiral's skin pulsed with what Ilara recognized as amusement. Not among spacefaring civilizations, no. There is always some token resistance, quickly overcome. Then allow me to make history twice today, Ilara replied. First, by informing you that humanity's resistance will be anything but token, and second, by suggesting you check your long-range scanners more carefully before making threats. Confusion rippled across the Admiral's translucent features as he gestured to someone off-screen. His expression shifted rapidly from confidence to uncertainty as new information reached him. What are these energy signatures scattered throughout your system? He demanded. Ilara smiled thinly. Insurance policy. You see, while the Craxian Federation was busy planning to harvest our planet's quantum resonance field, we were studying it ourselves. Turns out, with the right destabilization sequence, that field can be weaponized quite effectively against certain crystalline-based technologies, like, for instance, Craxian shield generators. Impossible, the Admiral hissed. Your technological development level cooled. Perhaps not under normal circumstances, Ilara conceded. But it's remarkable what humanity can accomplish when properly motivated. You should have studied our history more carefully, Admiral. We have a long tradition of technological leaps during existential threats. The Admiral's skin now pulsed with patterns indicating alarm. This changes nothing. Your primitive fleet cannot stand against our armada, even without shields. About that, Ilara replied calmly. You might want to take a closer look at our primitive fleet's positioning, specifically how it relates to the gravitational topology of this system. As the Admiral processed this information, Ilara turned to her communication officer. Signal all vessels. Operation Avalanche commences on my mark. She faced the screen once more, locking eyes with the increasingly agitated Craxian Admiral. You came to harvest our world's heart, Admiral Vexloren. Instead, you're about to discover why threatening Earth was the most significant miscalculation in your Federation's history." Her voice dropped to a cold, determined whisper. "Mark, throughout the solar system, hundreds of previously dormant devices simultaneously activated, sending precisely calibrated quantum pulses rippling through space. On the tactical display, the approaching Craxian armada suddenly erupted with warning indicators as ship after ship reported catastrophic shield failures. The first phase of humanity's counterattack had begun. The reckoning. The Craxian armada's advance faltered as shield systems failed across their fleet. The crystalline hulls of their vessels, normally protected by impenetrable energy fields, now lay exposed. High Admiral Vexloren's face contorted with rage and disbelief on the main view screen. "What have you done?" he demanded. Commander Ilara Chen watched impassively as chaos erupted among the Craxian formation. "Simply leveled the playing field, Admiral. Your technological superiority relied heavily on your quantum-aligned shield matrix. Without it, your ships are remarkably vulnerable." Vexloren's skin pulsed with patterns of fury. "This changes nothing. Even without shields, our weapon systems outclass yours by centuries. Your defeat will merely be more costly." "Perhaps," Ilara conceded. "But there's something you should understand about humans, Admiral. We don't think like the other species you've subjugated. We don't fight with honor or according to tactical doctrines." Her eyes hardened. "We fight to win, by any means necessary." She cut the transmission and turned to her bridge crew. "Execute Phase 2. All EDF vessels, implement Maneuver Hydra. Civilian Auxiliary Fleet, commence Operation Firefly on my mark." Lieutenant Rivera's fingers flew across the tactical console. "Commander, the Craxians are adapting their formation. They're shifting to a Telsani defensive array." As expected, Ilara nodded. "Their doctrinal response to shield failure is textbook and completely predictable." She tapped her command console, bringing up a three-dimensional representation of the solar system. "All ships, mark." What happened next confounded the Craxian tactical analysts. Instead of engaging the superior Craxian force directly, Earth's military vessels executed a series of seemingly random maneuvers, dispersing throughout the solar system. Meanwhile, the converted civilian ships began releasing thousands of small objects, each barely larger than a human hand. Aboard the Craxian flagship, alarms blared as the small objects accelerated toward their vessels at impossible speeds, weaving through defensive fire with unnatural precision. "Primitive projectile weapons," Vexloren scoffed, even as the first wave of objects impacted the lead vessels of his fleet. The objects didn't explode on impact as expected. Instead, they adhered to the crystalline hulls and began emitting a resonance frequency that made the very structure of the Craxian ships vibrate at a molecular level. "Quantum harmonic disruptors," Dr. Imani explained from her station on Earth Defense Station Artemis, targeting the specific crystalline frequency of their hull material. Not enough to destroy them outright, but enough to create structural weaknesses for Phase 3. Ilara finished, watching the tactical display with intense focus. The Craxian vessels were now displaying erratic movement patterns as their captains attempted to compensate for the unexpected attack. "Commander," Rivera called out, "Craxian vessels are launching interceptors, thousands of them." "Right on schedule," Ilara murmured. She opened a channel to all Earth vessels. "All units, initiate Maneuver Medusa." I repeat, Maneuver Medusa. Earth's military vessels, which had seemed to scatter randomly, suddenly revealed the brilliance of their positioning. As the Craxian interceptors pursued them, the Earth ships executed a complex series of micro-jumps, a technique that the Craxians had believed beyond human capability. Each jump positioned the Earth vessels precisely where they needed to be, creating a three-dimensional web around the now disorganized Craxian armada. "Now, Lieutenant," Ilara ordered. Rivera's hand came down on the activation control. Throughout the solar system, previously concealed gravitational amplifiers powered up. These devices, leveraging technology reverse-engineered from a crashed alien scout ship decades earlier, created localized gravity wells at precise coordinates. The effect was devastating. Caught between these artificial gravity wells, the Craxian vessels found themselves trapped in what human tacticians had nicknamed the spider's web. Their superior engines, designed for straight-line acceleration, struggled against the complex gravitational topology suddenly reshaping space around them. Phase 4, Ilara commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her system. Earth's military vessels, now positioned at the stable nodes of the gravitational web, began a coordinated attack. Their weapons, conventional by Craxian standards, struck with devastating precision at the exact points where the quantum harmonic disruptors had weakened the crystalline hulls. One after another, Craxian vessels began to lose structural integrity. Not enough to destroy them outright. Ilara had been explicit about minimizing casualties, but enough to render them combat ineffective. On the main view screen, High Admiral Vexloran's face appeared again, his skin now pulsing with patterns of alarm and confusion. "This is impossible," he stated flatly. "Your species lacks the scientific understanding to execute these tactics. A common misconception about humanity, Admiral," Ilara replied. "We're quite good at understanding things when properly motivated, and few motivations are stronger than fighting for our home." She nodded to Rivera, who adjusted the tactical display to show the current state of the Craxian fleet. Over 60% of their vessels were now trapped in the gravitational web, their systems compromised by the harmonic disruptors. The remaining ships were struggling to maintain formation against the unpredictable gravitational fluctuations. "Your options are limited, Admiral," Ilara continued. "You can continue this engagement, in which case I guarantee the complete neutralization of your armada, or you can withdraw your remaining combat-effective vessels and return to the Craxian Federation with an important lesson about humanity." Vexloran's skin pulsed with rapid patterns of calculation and assessment. "You cannot maintain these gravitational distortions indefinitely. Your power requirements must be astronomical." "True," Ilara acknowledged. "But we don't need indefinitely. We only need long enough." She leaned forward. "And consider this. What you're witnessing is what humanity developed in 3 weeks of preparation. Imagine what we could create given more time." For several tense moments, the Craxian admiral said nothing. Finally, his skin settled into a pattern that Ilara recognized as reluctant acceptance. "The Craxian Federation withdraws its claim on Earth's quantum resonance field," he stated formally. "I request safe passage for my damaged vessels." "Granted," Ilara replied without hesitation. "But this isn't over, Admiral. Humanity will be sending representatives to the Galactic Concord to address this attempted appropriation of our homeworld." When the transmission ended, the command center erupted in cheers. Lieutenant Rivera looked at Ilara with newfound respect. "You knew they'd back down," she said. "You were counting on it." "I was counting on their logical assessment of the situation," Ilara corrected. The Craxians pride themselves on rational decision-making. Once it became clear that victory would come at an unacceptable cost, withdrawal was their only logical choice. 3 months later, Commander Ilara Chen stood in the grand chamber of the Galactic Concord, now wearing the formal uniform of Earth's first official representative. Around her, delegates from hundreds of spacefaring civilizations watched with interest as she approached the central podium. "Distinguished representatives," she began, her voice calm but carrying an unmistakable strength. "Humanity comes before you today, not as supplicants, but as equals. The recent actions of the Craxian Federation have demonstrated that the current structure of interstellar governance is fundamentally flawed." Murmurs spread through the chamber as she continued. "Earth proposes a new interstellar accord, one that explicitly protects the sovereign rights of all species to their homeworlds, regardless of what resources those worlds may contain. One that values the diversity of approaches that different species bring to the challenges of our shared galaxy." She paused, making eye contact with the Craxian delegation, who sat in uncharacteristic silence. The incident in the Sol system proved that technological advancement alone does not determine a species' capability or worth. Humanity may be young among the stars, but we bring perspectives and approaches that this body sorely needs. The chamber erupted in a mixture of approving sounds and concerned discussions. At the back of the chamber, the Arcanian representative leaned toward her Talaxian counterpart. "The galaxy will never be the same, will it?" she whispered. "No," the Talaxian replied, watching Ilara with newfound respect. "But perhaps that's exactly what we needed." As debates raged around her, Ilara stood firm at the podium, her expression resolute. Humanity had earned its place among the stars not through centuries of gradual development, but through the uniquely human combination of innovation, adaptability, and fierce determination when threatened. The message to the galaxy was clear. Underestimating humanity was a mistake no species should make twice.